All right, guys, welcome to another edition of Deer Camp with the Lindseys. I'm coming from you live here in eastern Montana, elk camp. It's the only elk hunt I'm doing this year, and it's been a fun week with a lot of close calls. I'm talking about so close. So close, so close. Drew 2 times. I've had more bulls in bow range on this hunt probably than I've had in my last 10 elk hunts. And now granted, not all of them are giants, but a lot of 6x6s, a couple of really big ones that have managed to elude me. But it is what it is. That's elk hunting, that's bow hunting. I've learned a lot. I'm still after a couple of particular bulls, and we haven't had those in bow range, but I got a day and a half left here. I've stayed out all day the last 2 days. And 2 days ago, I've tried to get Clayton to feel sorry for me, but I didn't take any. I had like 6 ounces of water, had a couple of snacks. We didn't get back to the truck that night till 8, so that was pretty tough on this boy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like my lunchtime meal, getting ready for dinner. They do things a little different here. It's the first hunting camp that I've ever ate dinner at 3 o'clock, but it's smart because you come in and they get in about 11, have a brunch, and then 3. They do dinner, and then from there, boom, we're out to the woods. So when you get in at night, we're not getting back to the camp to 9:30, 10 o'clock. Last night it was 10:30 almost, and so you're not really wanting to eat much at that point anyhow. And if you do, it sets with you. So I'd say that's probably a good way to lose weight, but I've not done that this trip, even though I've walked many, many miles every single day. It's just I'm eating so much when I'm here, just to kind of rebuild my body, and it's counteracting. I'm probably gaining weight, let's be honest. But
sounds like too many little Debbies, buddy.
No, I'm not eating no little Debbies. I'm trying to eat pretty clean this trip because I got to carry it. I am having the occasional soft drink, which is probably the worst thing I could do anyhow. But hey, I don't smoke, I don't drink, but dead gum, I will have me a Dr. Pepper about once a day. So
hey, that caffeine's a good pick-me-up.
It is. That's my vice. A little coffee in the morning, and it's long days out here. It's waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, getting to bed at 11:30. It's just, you value those little power naps you get throughout the day. But it took us 7 years to draw this tag this time. Last time it was 2 years to draw the tag. Eastern Montana, the southeast portion that we hunt, this unit is no longer a sleeper. They've killed a lot of big bulls in this area, so it's one of those places that it's a lot of fun. I just wish it wasn't so hard to get drawn. It's kind of the rolling hills, prairies. It looks like whitetail and mule deer country more than elk, but there is a high elk population. They're doing really good. It's been incredible. My dad's not in today. I don't know. One of the guides was loading, or Troy, kind of the main dude, was loading up a horse earlier, going over there to where they were. So I don't know if they were dealing with, somebody coming in off the neighbors, public, whatever, or they're going to get an elk. I don't know. They said, hey, I'll be back. So we may have good news, but who knows? So I'm a little out of the whitetail mix right now, other than checking a few cameras. But I killed that buck last week, and I haven't really hunted much since. I've kind of been in elk mode, shooting my bow a ton. I feel like I'm really dialed in. I'm just waiting for that right opportunity.
Yeah. My sympathy level is low.
I know. I tell people, my wife, and she's like home with 4 kids, and I'm like, haven't ate or got any sleep today. And she's like, I'd trade places with you in a second if you'd watch all 4 of these kids. So, hey, it's fun, man. I'm definitely not complaining. I'd do this again. Wish I could do this every day. It's one of those things that I love elk hunting. I love September out west. I don't get to do it near enough. And I'm not going to Colorado this year. The place we've went for 9 years in a row, I gave my hunt to a buddy who is dealing with some sickness, and I let him take my spot. But those guys are out of Kansas. But Dustin, my brother-in-law, and Carl's going out there next week. So they're going to have a good time. And, the weather is going to be southern Colorado, southeast Colorado. It's going to be warm. It's going to be cool at night. Just so much different than here. We've got some fairly cool weather. It was in the 40s 2 mornings here last couple of days. And, speaking of 40s, I would love to see some 40s in the 10-day forecast for the Midwest, but it's just it's not there yet, man. I don't know. It's just the first podcast we've done, that we can see the 10-day forecast of when Iowa or Illinois is going to be open. And it's just decent. Actually looks okay that weekend you're going to come up. We got some exciting stuff we're going to do that week, but that weekend, you guys,
What's the
hopefully
high?
will be able to join us in that. But yeah, it's going to get down a little cooler that 3rd and 4th. So, and that it's not a cool snap or a cold front, but it's just cool enough that the deer should be moving a little earlier in the afternoon. I'm going to try to work on a doe, or I'm going to try to use my doe tag. I know my dad's going to whack some, so maybe if you're up there with a camera in hand, we can at least go out in the morning or something and bloody up the woods.
Oh, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
Question is how much fun? I'm gonna make you. Don't kid yourself. I'm gonna make you work.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Oh, you want all day sits or something? I mean, what are we talking about here?
No, but they're gonna be long days.
Yeah, I'm fine with
It might be all day filming, but it won't be all day sits.
I'm not scared of hard work. You know that.
Yeah.
We just gotta. I gotta get an elk killed. I mean, man, it was close last night. It was close. I don't know if Cole sent you that footage, but that's something you can drop right here. But I had a solid bull, man. I don't know, 340s, I guess, come in, and he's following cows. He's running in, and I drew back, and he stops the guy. Hayden stops him, and he's like, he's talking, and when he's talking, his cow call is going off, and I can't hear if he's saying 53, 63. And then by that time, it took off, and he's slowly walking. I'm like, I knew there was still a bull to the right coming. So I'm gonna let that one come. And boom, it was unlike anything I've ever seen in my whole life. I've probably spent 25 weeks in the woods, 25 different elk hunts. I think I've counted up that I've done, but nothing like last night. The day before, the morning was completely epic. Almost killed a bull at 12:30. We got in amongst them. They were bedding down, feeding, getting up, just bugling all day long. And we kind of just eased in on them, and I had a solid bull coming out. I could see, I think he was like a 6x7, and he was with 2 cows, and we'd moved in on him. We couldn't call him in, and we've been sitting on him 2 or 3 hours. And next thing I know, I hear a bugle, and we looked at each other like, oh my gosh, he's close. So Hayden ran 50 yards to my right to try to go set up to call if he needed to. And at that point, I can see the bull's antlers just a couple of minutes later. He's rubbing a tree like 25 yards away, and I'm looking at Cole like, oh my gosh, man, this is going to happen. The 2 cows come out, and as soon as they get there, they kind of feed down the bottom. I'm in a little bit of a hole in the woods, just a little bit of grassy area, so the cows didn't want to come out in it, I guess because it was 12:30. And that bull, I can see him, he comes all the way right here, and when he gets 18 yards, there's a tree, and I can almost see his nose, the tip of his antlers, and he does a complete 90 degrees and goes down following the cows. And, hindsight's always 20/20. I could have popped out right here, took 2 steps out. Cole would have had to go with me, and we didn't have that planned. But I could have took 2 steps out and probably cow called at him, and he would have swung to me quartering away, and I probably could have had a 25, 30-yard shot. But, we were in amongst them so much that I didn't think they were going anywhere. I thought he was going to come out at 60, and I was going to dial my pin into 60 and try to whack him there. And when he got down probably 45, 50 yards, Hayden hits his cow call, and he turns around and looks and comes up towards us. I never seen him again. Cows fed off, and that was that. But it was incredible. And right before that, I had probably a 290, 300-inch 6x6 come by. Just a young bull. Could have smoked him at 24 yards. Another little smaller bull that morning. It was just incredible. But that was 2 days ago. But I cannot stress enough how cool last night was. Probably 100 elk in this giant alfalfa field just coming down. 5 or 6 bulls that I would have shot. I've never seen nothing like it. I've seen pictures, but I felt like I was in some park. We had the wind in our favor. We were in this big ditch. It was just full of sharp-tailed grouse. And all these elk were coming off these wooded hillsides just from all different directions. And I thought it was kind of a few different herds mixed up, but I think it was just a giant herd with all these little bulls with cows inside the herd. They figured there was strength in numbers, and oh man, I get fired up thinking about it. But the wind's pretty good tonight. We're going back in there. We put a giant to bed this morning, watching that same field. So I'm pumped. Or after this podcast, I'm probably going to take me a little bit of a 20, 30-minute power nap and get back in there. So, but that being said, I don't have a ton of whitetail updates. I can tell you that in eastern Montana, the elk hunting right now is as good as I've ever seen it. I've never heard this many bugles all day long at times, all night long, from as long as we stayed out there last night, but trying to get out of the field. But nonetheless, it's been fun, but all this footage is kind of going to be for naught if we don't kill a bull, because we just never showed an episode that we don't have a kill. So I really hope me and my dad, one, kill something where we could show you guys this, because man, I mean, we got some cool social media reels, but
yeah.
It just nobody wants to watch a hunt where you don't shoot nothing. At least that's my opinion. And I mean, you really got to have some content or substance there for that to make sense.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you the whitetail news that I've seen the last few days from our stretch of the country in the Kentucky area, and I'm sure this applies to most of the Midwest. Finally, we got rain, and a good bit of it.
I wish I could say the same.
Really? You guys didn't get any?
We're getting in Kansas. We got a little bit of rain last week in Georgia when we were gone here, so we couldn't disc our food plots. But it's been Iowa and Illinois. We got a little bit in Iowa last week, I think, but Illinois, we got that 2 weeks ago, and we haven't since. So it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, we got an inch. What was it? Monday. We got some. I think we got some Sunday, and we're getting another inch tonight, but it had the deer doing what you would expect they'd be doing. They were moving, buddy. And it looks like this weekend, highs in the like mid to high 70s. So yeah. I do like that for deer hunting. I think, some big deer will fall. Some mature bucks will be on their feet in daylight. Got that north wind, a bit of a change for them. So
yeah, I haven't looked at wind directions for next week yet, but, I still haven't dialed in on a buck or two that I want to hunt. I mean, I got some that I'm still kind of waiting on one or two to show up that I haven't seen yet, but it's one of those things that, the last few years, once I moved back to Georgia from Iowa, I've just I'm not really getting dialed in until October, if that makes sense. Just so many irons in the fire. Maybe it's all the kids and, obviously it's for me not being up there as much, but I've kind of used October more to, hey, get ready, figure out where I want to hunt, make sure I'm ready come November. Because at the end of the day, personally, the thought of me using my buck tag in early October is cool, but not being able to hunt Iowa in November, with my dad, waking up every morning and grinding that November rut hunt out. I mean, it wouldn't feel right, so it's going to have to be something special for me to shoot one in October.
All right, so that's what I was about to ask you. So we talk about athletes. You say they got a ceiling and a floor. All right, well, deer hunting, there is no ceiling because you'll take them as big as you can get them. But let's talk about this. Early October, we're up there filming, not this coming weekend, but the following. What's your floor, do you think, size-wise, for you to say, okay, yep, I'll wrap my tag on it right here, right now?
I'm never a size guy. I'm always an age guy. So I'm looking for something that's 7, 8 years old. I mean, if it's something, a mega giant, I'm not just typically I'm just not going to shoot him unless I know 100% how old he is. I want to get that cream off the top. I want him to be as big as he is. He's ever going to be as old as he is. And I think in Iowa, I know from our experience, 90% of our bucks, if they can make that 7 or 8 year old number, they're going to be bigger than they've ever been in their life. So that's the goal. There's the occasional outlier at 5 or 6, maybe got injured or he just never grew back that time length or something. But man, that doesn't happen much. We try to get them super old. So yeah, I mean, if I get a 7 or 8 year old deer in front of me when you're in the tree, I mean, I'm probably going to whack him. I mean, let's not put that on record or in ink yet, but that's probably my goal.
Yeah, unless it's like one of those deer that's like 130 inches at 7 years old. I don't know. Then you're going to be like, I feel like I could kill him in November. We'll just wait.
Yeah.
And if it happens in November, then I'll do it then. Because that's how I
Yeah,
operate.
I know. You hear people say all the time, don't pass something on the first day, you shoot on the last day. I'm like, well, I mean, this elk hunt right here is the only guided hunt I'm doing all fall. So it doesn't really apply to me saying, hey, I'm not going to shoot him on the last day, because I'm not saying I'll lower my standards, but I definitely shoot. I'm not going to shoot, just some old junker opening day. I know I do shoot age, but as it gets on in season, that old junker starts looking a little better, But you know me, I don't hunt for film. I don't hunt to make an episode or to just get something down. It has to make me happy, and just old deer make me happy. That's just my general rule of thumb. Hunt for age, and you'll never be disappointed. And that's what I'm gonna do next weekend too, when we get to hunt together. So last time we only hunted technically one morning, and we shot a mega giant. So
you better have the right spot picked out next weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna be careful when I take you. I'm gonna take you somewhere that I just wish I had a 200 somewhere that I knew about that might walk out. But hey, you never know, man. It's Iowa, right? They're behind every tree, they say.
I mean, that would be nice. I'll take anything over like any booner would be cool, because 2 booners and 2 sets would be pretty daggone awesome.
Yeah. Like I say, I got a couple deer I'm on the lookout for, and we'll just have to see. It's about the time when they start showing up. But I wish I had better news. Looking at the forecast, Georgia's the same. I mean, we haven't had I don't think we've had a morning sub 60s since deer season started last weekend in Georgia. And I don't even see nothing in the 10-day forecast. So I got my 1 buck tag there. Like I said last week, I'm saving it for one of 3 or 4 bucks. And those are all really old deer. Cole has been actually trying to kill this fat. I think we talked about that last week. He's trying to kill this fat old 8-pointer. He set on him, had the perfect win 3 days in a row. Never seen him. But, you get those deer for 1st of September, when that season opens, they're daylighting every day, every other day, and really getting comfortable. And once you start putting that little bit of pressure on them, where my dad killed is where he's hunting at. So I think those deer feel the pressure, and plus, those sawtooth acorns are falling like crazy. So the deer are really dispersed. Those orchards are getting bigger. So, I mean, there's no like one certain section of trees are falling. So when I get home, I'm looking forward to hunting those acorns with Cash and shooting some does. We got a little scare with Cash. He's trying to kill his first deer ever with a bow. We thought he's going to be limited to ground blinds. He sprained his foot. We thought he had a hairline fracture. Took him to urgent care. Or Ashley did. This is all while I'm in Montana here, and he thought it was broken. He was limping, and then last night or 2 nights ago, he's like, "Man, I feel like I'm putting a little pressure on that." I said, "Well, maybe it's not." So he had to go to the orthopedic doctor. I said, "Maybe it's not broke." And sure enough, they said it's just a bad sprain. Wear the boot till you feel like it doesn't hurt. So I was like, and when I was FaceTiming, I was like, "Man, I was going to cut into your deer stand time." He's like, "Yeah, Dad, it's all I could think about. I ain't going to be able to climb a tree." So that's not an issue no more, hopefully. But, we hunt more ground blinds or rednecks with the kids anyhow, just for multiple reasons. But
I did that in college. I tore my ACL, and it was like September. And the doctor's like, "You need to get surgery." I'm like, "What's the recovery time?" He told me. He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I won't be able to deer hunt then," because at the time we didn't have any blinds set up. And I'm like, "That's not going to work. We're going to have to wait till after deer season." So I did. And I went to a different doctor to get the surgery. And he's like, after the surgery, did the post-op appointment. He's like, "I don't know what you did, but everything in there was just totally shredded. Your meniscus, your ACL, all of it just shredded into pieces." I said, "Yeah, I may have gone a little bit hard on it for a few months after tearing it, but that was the cost
had to
I was
hurt,
willing
right?
to take." No, it's just not stable. I mean, it would hurt if you tweak it the wrong way, but it's just like
Jeez,
when you tear your ACL and your meniscus. Yeah, just carefully. Yeah. Like there's no stability in the knee. Most of the pain when you do that is the initial injury, and then for me, like, you can tweak it sometimes, but after that, it's just lack of stability, and then the pain's after surgery, because like when you're there in surgery, they're bending your leg in ways that it's not meant to bend, and everything else, and that's why the recovery time is long on a lot of those surgeries.
Oh man, yeah, so, gosh, I can't imagine in those hills where you hunt over there. I can't imagine getting after that.
Yeah, we were doing a lot of climbers back in them days too.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's better than climbing the stand, I guess. Another reason for you to get in that saddle, man. You can slide right up that tree and don't have to mess with that meniscus. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I got a couple saddles coming. Hunter Safety's sending us some, and there's a couple places I wanted to hunt. And I was talking with Jay over there. He's like, hey, man, I'll send you some. So maybe by this time next week, I'll be done setting the saddle.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of do want one. I'm like, there are some spots where I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to have that. Like, just slide up, slide down, and be done with it. So
yeah, I mean, we've always joked about them, but it's a modern-day climber. Man, I hunted climbers, killed a ton of deer out of climbers, many moons ago, but that's where everybody gets mobile now. It's not carrying a big climber in. It's, sticks and a saddle.
They are comfortable. I've hunted one time. I killed a doe. They are comfortable. They are nice if you're shooting bow side. The thing you got to figure out is when you need to shoot opposite side, how you turn your body with that little platform and the rope, getting it over your shoulder or your head. But once you get it there, you can, like what I did, because I had to turn to shoot opposite side, I just sat down in it, and it's not like it was in the way or anything. I just put all my weight into the saddle, and I was just kind of pressed up against the tree. It would have been hard to move back, but the deer wasn't going to go on the other side of me in that situation, so I was comfortable with the fact of just sitting down and saying, all right, it's fine.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's interesting because, so many things are running through my head, because when I'm in my tree stand, I'm always moving left to right. I like a big platform, duck down, get up, especially I hunt the woods a lot, so just getting up over limbs or leaves, and if the saddle kind of inhibits that may, I don't know. I'm gonna reserve my opinion and judgment, like I say, till I hunt that. But dude, I wish I had more.
I'll tell you practice with it.
Yeah, okay. I'll be ready to go. I got some does I can not practice on, but some areas where I'm hunting does that I can practice in some oaks. So I'm gonna try that. But I wish I had more deer stuff for you, man. But I'm a little out of the loop. Sounds like you guys had some success in Kentucky, but this weekend. But I don't have no stories for you.
I don't. Well, and to be honest with you, I don't know that there's really much of an update on food sources or anything. You mentioned the sawtooths. I will say the one thing I did notice when we were at the farm this weekend, we were cleaning up the driveway, and there's a giant oak tree by it, and we went under that oak tree. I mean, there's just deer scat everywhere because it was dropping acorns. So I'd say be on the look for your heavy producing oak trees if it's the right year for them.
Yeah, it's a good year. Everywhere I've checked, Iowa, Illinois, Georgia, everywhere I hunt that has acorns, our Kansas farm don't have any, don't even have no oaks, but there has been a lot of acorns in the trees. It's going to be a really good year, and all those old sayings about the old timers that big acorn years and all, we all have heard a few of those, but that's going to come into effect this year, and they're starting to fall. I don't know what kind of makes them fall earlier, but it seems like to me, definitely the white oaks and red oaks some of them have been falling in Georgia, and I'm like, man, it feels a little early, but maybe there's so many of them, so I don't 100% know the reason for them hitting the ground early. I have my theories, but it's just an opinion.
Yep. Outside of that, I will say this: all you guys that have season starting here in the next week or two, keep shooting that bow. If you've got a new bow, make sure you put enough shots through it that it's got time for the string to stretch out, because on those new, like anytime you get a new bow, I don't care what brand it is, the string will stretch. You might have to make some micro adjustments on the timing of your cams, stuff like that. That happened to Jay. He had to get his bow stretched out, stretch his legs out on it, and he had to go back in and readjust the timing and everything. So don't tinker too much, but make sure everything's set right. Don't quit practicing now just because season's here.
Yeah, don't be scared to adjust your pins. I see so many people make that mistake. Pete Shepley always said, hey, your body changes, your shooting habits, even though you would like to think they don't, they change daily. So you get out there and you're shooting to the right, adjust your pin. Don't be stubborn and just think it's you. Adjust your pin and be dialed in, because with bow hunting, confidence is the number one tool, in my opinion, to kill deer in the moment. In the heat of the moment, big deer, they get you tore up. Any deer that gets you tore up, I still get tore up over does, but just confidence, being able to know where your bow's hitting, know that you can put that thing through a keyhole if you need to, and that's kind of how my strategy for bow season, or how I live my life. Just give me confidence. Let me know my equipment. I'm not a huge gimmicky guy when it comes to archery. The fewer things I have that can go wrong, the better. But I'm excited for deer season. It's one of those things that I'm excited now, but I'll be real excited next week once we finally flip the page to October. Then it's like, okay, it's real. It's happening.
Yep. I'm with you. Oh, the other thing, have a plan. You get in that stand, imagine, play some scenarios out in your head. How you think a deer is going to walk in, where he could walk in from. If he gets here, that's when I'm grabbing my bow. Here, I'm drawing. Because that'll help you take your mind off the deer, too. And you're just reactionary, and you're not having to freak out about, do I move now? Do I don't move now? You know, have a plan ready to go.
Do you draw your bow when you get in stand or in a ground blind? You draw it, check
100%.
lanes and windows.
Yep.
Yeah, I always do that.
Especially in a deer stand.
Yeah, deer stand, you can hit a limb, ground blinds. I want to make sure my arrow's going to clear where I think the shot's going to be. And you know, if that cam's hitting the top of a blind or a limb, man, that's nothing will send an arrow 6 feet over a deer's back quicker than your cam hitting the top of a blind or hitting a tree limb. Don't ask me how I know, but it'll happen.
Yep, but no, that's about all I got for today, man.
All right, bud, that sounds good. I'm going to go take me a nap, and hopefully tonight or tomorrow, me or Dave One will get it done, and we'll have an elk episode to roll out. But my thoughts are starting to wane as I'm getting tired. I got to go take a power nap, do a couple more emails, and then we got to get back out there in about an hour and a half.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll see you
All right,
next
bud.
week.
Take care. See you then.